Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, the #1 show for lead generation, conversion, and for disposition of wholesale deals. This is the 87th episode. We're coming up, we're getting real creative for the 100th episode. But while we're in the 87th episode, let me open it up with this. And I think that this is one of the toughest parts. Especially when you're starting out, this is the toughest part. At least it was for me. I really had to change my mindset. I really had to grind on it. I really had to flip everything. And the book, The Go-Giver, really helped me do that. But you and your business attract money when you stop being selfish and turn your business focus from the needs of yourself to the needs of other people. And I think that that is so hard. It is hard, especially when you're trying to get out of a career or a job, or maybe you're just broke, or maybe, you have all these ambitions, but nothing has ever come, you haven't really gotten those big checks. You haven't really gotten that big success. It's very hard to go out and think about some stranger that you've never come across, never been around, and you are just reaching out to try to solve their problem. But in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I hope this closes. I hope I get paid on this. I hope I get paid in this. And you have to almost you got to push that all the way down, and you got to really just take time and focus on what these people are saying to you and what their situation is to actually be successful. That's how you really start bringing in like a magnet all these opportunities. What do you think?
Oh my God, it couldn't be anything realer in the world. There couldn't be anything realer in this crazy universe that we live in that has so many things that we don't even see. When's the last time you've seen a microwave? Not an actual microwave oven,
right?
A microwave.
Never.
When have you ever seen a radio wave?
Never.
Ever. Do they exist?
Yep.
So are there not forces?
How about Wi-Fi?
How about gravity? Are there not forces on this planet that are invisible that we all accept exist day after day after day after day? We don't question them because some scientist said that it's here and it's real, and we can use our phones and do the things. However, it's the exact same thing when we're talking about attraction, when we're talking about how we can prime ourselves to be that magnet of activity, that magnet of positivity, that magnet of action, that magnet of results. The only way you get to that spot is by vibrating at that spot. And the only way you can vibrate at that spot is when you stop being a selfish motherfucker.
That's right.
Sorry, I had to swear again.
I think it was anchoring language, and I like it.
But
anchoring language.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And I feel it in my bones, in every fiber of my being. It's the one thing, if I could tell everybody to do, forget about all the bells and whistles. Forget about all the trinkets and dinkets. Forget about all the things. Do one thing. Fix your mind. Start with your head and your heart, and everything else will follow.
What do you think, Pacer?
I couldn't agree anymore. We've been going to events. We've been going to, we just had a pop-up in Chicago on a rooftop. By the way, Jamil just paid for basically my vacation.
That was fun.
Bro, that was a blast. We go to Chicago and Jamil pays for this Airbnb that was like $1,500 a night and just invites me, my family, Cody, my business partner, and his girlfriend, Hayel. Man, did we have a blast. But
so fun. It was such an incredible time.
Chicago.
Bro.
Chicago is a beautiful city.
Thank you, Thank you. Like Cody had a blast. Everybody had a blast. I was just in a meeting with Cody a couple minutes ago talking about how lucky we are to have such a gracious and amazing friend with you, Jamil. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, man, having you there and having Cody there and Hayel and Laura and the baby, it was a dream for us too. It was super fun just getting to connect and not have work. And when someone will say, well, what do you mean you didn't have work? You had a pop-up. That's not work.
No.
That's not work.
No.
That's doing, that's giving, that's being with our community, that's being with our people. That doesn't hurt us. That helps us.
Yeah, it's hanging with the homies.
Because here's an interesting thing. Chicago, right? Illinois, you need to have a license, a real estate license, to be able to wholesale,
right?
Technically. So how was the crowd? I mean,
we got a lot. We have virtual? We limited the event only to sub 2 and Astro students because we wanted to hang out with our very specific communities. And we got a lot of people crushing a lot of deals there, and either their partners are agents or they themselves are agents, and they're doing a lot of deals. But going to that pop-up that we did, it was interesting. A lot of the conversation we ended up having was about mindset, right? A lot of mindset. Oh yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Yes, wear that, dude. Jamil, what do you recall during that pop-up that as we were going around the room, having everybody introduce themselves to everybody, what like jumped up in your mind as a mindset issue that some of those people were having that we helped overcome?
Man, you know what? We had so many self-aware people show up to this event. First and foremost, I think where people get stuck is they don't know, they haven't unclogged their septums, so they don't smell their own BS.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here we get into this place, and I can tell you that the folks that were at that meetup, they were all honest. They were all honest with themselves. They were like, this is my biggest problem. I make excuses. This is my biggest problem. I've been taking action. I've been getting too comfortable. This is my biggest problem. I don't talk to anybody. I don't meet up with anybody. I don't see anybody. I don't try to help. Then you had other people in there who were the exact opposite.
Yeah.
We had guys like Oscar, who is one of Pace's students, who is this incredible, incredible giver and just continuously wants to pour into people, wants to help. We had Mike Keekley franchise there from Milwaukee. Another guy like that. Yes. Marcelo Sharif wants to help. So I think first and foremost, Pace, to answer that question, I think what we saw a lot of was people being self-aware, but their biggest problem was that they're trying to do this alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and listen, that was the, I mean, that's been going on since we started. I mean, that's something that you and Pace really spearheaded. You guys decided, we're going to go around and show everybody how you can collaborate, right? And then that kind of turned into Wholesale Hotline, which really, because of COVID, was really kind of grounded you guys in a lot of ways. And this was like our outlet to be able to do that. And fortunately enough, you guys invited me to participate in it. And you can see in the comments, guys, squat up in the comments, find people that are around you. I just talked to Jared Frankham, and Jared just moved from Texas to North Carolina, and he's out there in a new market, and he's squatting up with everybody out there, driving for dollars, going out there, like just being around, creating, his environment in a new market. And he's in every single day in our Facebook group. He is documenting exactly what he's done. So it's just incredible. You don't have to, you don't have to overthink this. Just find people that are around you and ask them if you could do stuff together. Ask if you could be proactive. It's one thing if you want to sit down over a lunch and just talk about deals and this and that. It's a lot better when you go out and you drive for dollars and you knock on doors. You get together and you start having fun and making calls and reaching out to people, or maybe doing a lead follow-up, or maybe talking to real estate agents and connecting there, and really connecting with all of the other people that are in our industry, in our little world, so that you feel that your network is robust, that your network is proactive, that your network is, has an open line of communication. Once you have that, then the wind's behind your back, I think.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what are you doing out in North Carolina, by the way? Has he locked anything up yet? I know, Jared, you're here. Tell us how things are going, bro.
Tell us how it's going, buddy.
If we can support you in any way, can we amplify you at all, Jared? I love seeing you in the grassroots doing it, but also understand you've got friends, and you've got so many folks that want to just see you pop. So let's go.
Dude,
what
you
can
look
we
good
do?
in that jacket.
I mean,
Oh,
I want to sneak out, but somebody said I might need help getting out of
Tell
it.
you what, that looks good. That looks good.
Oh, that's so good. Check that out. Jose Luis Guerrero says, Jamil, I'm a realtor in Arizona and currently squat up with your astro flipping student I met at the All-In Sub 2 event in Phoenix last Wednesday.
Incredible. And I heard that event was phenomenal. I heard you were phenomenal on that stage, Pace. And the All-In guys are always incredible. They always bring the value. They're just go-givers and very special people. And that's amazing. I appreciate you letting me know that, Jose. It's great to see this in action. It's great to see this work. And guys, Squatting Up happens everywhere, right? It happens in the comments. It happens if you go to Sunday service, Pace's live show on Sunday, and you go to the comment section of that show, Squatting Up is happening. When you come to Brent Daniels' show on Wednesday that he does every single morning religiously, people are squatting up. You come to Straight Outta Compton on Sunday, people are squatting up. You go to live events, squat up. Go with the intention, go with the heart that you have the mission. You have a mission to collect at least 10 people to collaborate with every time you're on a virtual event, every time you're in a in-person event. Find 10 people to collaborate with.
Love it. And there was a comment there before just talking about, sometimes we close our walls off, or sometimes we don't really want to, we don't know who to squat up with, and it takes some time, and you got to find the right people, and these so-called gurus, especially locally, that just want basically are like, yeah, I'll show you the ropes, but give me the deals. And sometimes they don't hold up to their end of the bargain. Sometimes that happens, but you will find people that are incredible. It just takes time. Don't let one sour, relationship or experience really slow it down. If you go with that optimism that you're going to be able to find those people that you want to connect with, you're going to find them. Sometimes you get burned. Sometimes people are shady. Sometimes people don't communicate. Sometimes people steal your deals. Sometimes these things happen.
Can I say something about when that happens to you right out the gate?
Yeah.
What did you do to deserve it? No, really.
What was that?
If you get kicked in the nuts or the kneecaps, okay, and right out the gate, something happens to you. You get, somebody steals your deal. Where in your past did you have that coming to you? And it's not going to be related to this thing.
Yep.
It could have been somewhere else, some other time, some other relationship, somebody you burnt. Look, all of us are human beings. We've all lived a life on the spectrum of we've been great people, we've been shitty people. Okay, everybody has had that. Brent, have you been an amazing man your entire life?
No.
Has there not been a day where you just woke up one day like a total POS?
No, I mean, listen, it was pretty much my whole 20s.
Guys,
to be honest,
when you get hit in the knees like that, when you come out the gate and something happens to you, understand you're probably just working out some karma. You're probably just working out what was coming to you sometimes.
Well, and a lot of it, was ego, at least for my perspective. I always thought that because I could go and I could communicate and I could do things, and I came into the real estate world as a real estate agent, and it was like the hottest market ever in 2004 and 5 and 6. I was like, 6 figures for a 22-year-old, 23-year-old. I thought that was like, I was on my way. Right. And it messes with you. That's one of the reasons why I started the show with Ryan Zolan, the Millionaire Before 30 on Thursdays, is to like show the negative side of letting your ego go wild, which is what I did. And I totally admit to it. And because of that, everything went down, just like you were saying.
Right.
Just like you were saying. So
Justice
I love
asked,
this.
do you have a logical?
Can I answer this one?
Go ahead.
Please.
Okay, so just this morning, I ran a pretty significant sized live. We just started a 30-day challenge today. And the 30-day challenge is not just me telling people to go out and do something. It's my team, myself, going out in the field every day for 2 hours per day and going out and getting deals. So that challenge started today, and we had about 800 people on the live this morning that joined the challenge, and we had a blast. In the first couple of minutes, I had one of my students, Munif, M-U-N-I-F, come on and talk about how he had joined 3 other mentorships prior to getting involved in our influence, right? TTP, Astro, Sub 2. He said that the mindset there is always a scarcity mindset in these other mentorships. It's all about go do it yourself. And they train you to be scarce on every little thing. He says after 2 years of being in other mentorships and YouTube University and going to seminars and reading the books and listening to podcasts and doing everything, he couldn't get a deal. And he comes into sub 2 and he got a deal within 30 days. And this is how he did it. He already knew how to generate leads, but he didn't feel confident in talking to sellers quite yet. And he also didn't feel confident talking to buyers. So what he did is he got a lead that he knew was motivated. He passed that lead on to another student. That student closed the deal. And then that student was like, I don't have a buyer for this deal. Let's go get another student that has a buyer. So they found a third student that brought a buyer to the table, and they all ultimately got the deal done, and they split it 3 different ways. Now, if Munif had done what he had been trained 2 years prior, who knows how much longer it would have gone. And now Munif has 15 deals in process. 15 deals.
Bring it.
Do you mind, Grace?
Yes, please.
Not to cut you off, but I'm going to cut you off.
Okay, he's been in my program 3 months. Okay. And I can tell you the number one thing missing from people's lives is the abundance mindset and the community that comes along with it. I can't do anything on my own. I never have done anything on my own, nor will I ever accomplish anything on my own, ever, 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 ever. The logical case, Justice Soto, is right there. Munif, M-U-N-I-F. In fact, he probably is watching Wholesale Hotline because he's in here constantly coming in and telling people over and over and over, I'm somebody that would like to bring value to you in the comments. If you guys need help with something, I will help you out. Now, what is amazing about Munif is he asked me, he said, Pace, how do I give back? I've gotten so much value from this community. How do I give back? And I'm like, Munif, start a Twitch stream and stream your live seller calls every single day. And now he's got this amazing Twitch stream that people watch every day for free. And what's funny is he's getting deals out of providing value to other people. People are bringing leads for him to call. So I could go on and on and on, Justice Soto, and I appreciate the question. I don't think Justice, knowing Justice, I don't think he is questioning the abundance mindset. I think he understands that there's a lot of people in here that do. And his question is a really, really good one, because the reason why, guys, write this down. In my mind, there's really 2 reasons why you are not successful in real estate. Number 1 is that you haven't taken action consistently. Okay, that's number 1. The second reason why you haven't been successful in real estate is because you haven't had a community of like-minded people there to keep you taking action consistently. Because I can tell you right now, I am way more likely to show up places when I know my friends are there than when I'm just showing up there by myself.
Yep.
We're social creatures, guys. We're social creatures. We want to hang out with our friends. We want to be around our buddies. We want to hang out with the homies. So an abundance mindset and hanging out is a guaranteed way to stay consistent in this business.
Also, I'd like to just kind of talk, scientifically, Justice, if you want to get into this on a scientific basis. When you have scarcity in your head, in the way that you're thinking, when you're contracting, that's contracting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have done studies where they've actually measured the frequency of your bioelectrical magnetic field. Okay. This is something you have in your body. You emit this all the time, and it's measurable. That when you have negative feelings, when you have contracting feelings, that your biomagnetic field is smaller, it's contracted, it's closer to your body. When you are in an abundant state, when you are giving, when you are positive, when you are sharing, you are raising your biomagnetic field, and it is expanding, which is what is bringing these opportunities to you in the first place. So scientifically, that's how that works.
Love it. I had a guy that was bidding at the foreclosure auctions, at the trustee auctions for us, and he was old school, right? Old school, and he was grumpy, and he was very closed off and very angry if anybody competed against a bid, didn't squat up, blah blah. He was always like hunched over, and he was always having problems with his stomach, and he was always grumpy, and he was always pessimistic, and he was very closed off. And I was like, what is going on? And then one of my buddies, Kyle Brown, started a company that went and bid. So we started bidding with him. And then all of a sudden we were getting all these other deals, because he would like go and talk to everybody and be like, hey, listen, do you want this? Do you want that? Do you have anybody? You know, we would love these deals. You won the bid, but maybe I could sell it or whatever else. And so it was just like a total different opening mindset, because that was my first step into like real investing, was bidding down at the auction.
Awesome.
Right.
What a place to start.
And that was, do you remember back in the day?
Gosh,
that was like a
it's
Shark
a Wild
Den.
Wild West.
It was like, it was brutal. And then these young kids go in with this squad up mentality and took over. Now all those guys, you know,
they got pushed out.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think you got to give Boone Hancock a little ring a ding ding for this
I started about a
$1,000
month
deal he
ago,
just got.
and I'm about to close my first deal. I'll only make about $1,000 after it, but gotta start somewhere. Boone, listen, you were crossing the bridge from faith to fact. You had faith that you could do it, and now you have 1,000 reasons why you know without a doubt that you can do this. I don't care if it's $1 or if it's $100,000 or if it's $1,000. When you make income, when money goes into your checking account, into your bank account from the efforts of using this and calling and talking to people and following up with them and going on an appointment and solving their problem. Woo! You're unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Ring that bell, baby.
Awesome.
I love how in our business we make $1,000 and we preface it with only.
Right.
But it's Boone. I'm not saying anything about that. I love that. You're going to make more money, but it's great. This business is incredible. When we make $1,000, we say only 1,000. You go to a McDonald's worker and you're like, hey, you want $1,000? You're like, change their life.
Well, there's people like giving $1,000 to like servers and stuff online and filming it. And they're like free. Yeah. It's crazy.
Abdullah Nabulsi says, I got that part, but I have no idea the flow of conversation other than asking, are you considering an offer? So Brent,
yep,
I know you talk about this, but you don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
If somebody needs a script of exactly what to say to a seller, how the flow of the conversation should go, where should I go to get that resource?
ttpinsider.com. ttpinsider.com. Guys, we've got a toolbox there that's absolutely bananas. I mean, you can get so many free downloads, so many good things in there. I mean, I really took, I remember going through this process after the trustee was all like, okay, now you have to go and find these deals yourself. You got to go out there and you got to find them. And I remember somebody had like, well, I paid, $100,000 for one of these big seminar companies. Right. And I remember going in and seeing all the stuff, and they gave me the login. I was looking at it and I was checking it out, and I was like, this is okay. I mean, but it's not, it's $100,000. Like, what are we talking about here?
It's it was basically the foreclosure list and the drive report.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and a little bit of guidance. So what I wanted to do is put some together, those free toolbox that can get people going. And then if they want to be in our world, they can be in our world or whatever else from a coaching standpoint. But if not, they can just stay in that world and get the free stuff. But anyway, listen, Abdullah, you need to find out 4 things. That's it. We talk about it every time in the show, and I'm glad that you posted this, because everything about the conversation comes down to the condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation to sell that property, and their price. So as you're starting to talk and see if they would consider an offer, this is when you got to pull back the reins a little bit, and you got to ask about the condition of the property. It's going to open up the conversation. And then from there, you got to talk about the timeline. They might have a property that's in rough shape, but if they don't want to sell it for 2 or 3 years, or they don't know where they're going to go, or they're living there, or it's a storage unit and whatever else, there's some other things that you have to overcome there. And then the third one is, what is their motivation? Why do they want to sell it right now? Why do they want to sell? And then obviously the price. You find out those 4 things and you've got a qualified lead. Now you go on the appointment, and remember, appointments come down to the price, the terms, and you. That's it. So how well did you do building a relationship when you were pre-qualifying them? How well did you do in the relationship with the way that you communicated with them, doing your lead follow-up leading up to this appointment? Do you go on that appointment and all of a sudden you're shoving a contract in front of them, or are you sitting down with them and seeing what their goal is with the property and then going around the property? So a ton of free stuff. All of this is in that TTP Insider. You can check that out.
Okay. Here we go. Here's a good one for Brent. Alberto Morales asked a question. Or I'm sorry, not for Brent, but for Jamil. Jamil, you want to answer this question?
For sure. Alberto Morales asked, if there are no comps, how do you assess if a property is worth going after? The seller was motivated and property had a big lot and the price was discounted, but there were no comps. Can I ask you a question, Alberto, that you won't be able to answer because I'm going to keep talking? How did you know the price was discounted? You don't if you don't have comps. You see, you have no idea of what the value is unless you have something to compare it to. Just like I have no idea what a good life is until I live a bad one. I have no idea what it feels to be pain-free until I felt pain, right? You don't know what the opposite is, or you don't know what something is unless it's relative to something else, right? That's what Einstein taught us. That's the truth. This is what this shit is about. So unfortunately, Alberto, when you don't have comps to compare to, you're literally just shooting in the dark.
Right.
So now you've got to make the decision. First and foremost, ask yourself this question. Is this property in a price point where a buyer is going to be willing to just take a gamble? Because if there's no comps, that's what I'm asking him to do.
Yeah.
I'm asking them to gamble. Just gamble some. Here, roll the dice.
Or you're trying to find the one buyer that knows that area.
That knows that,
you know what I mean?
That understands that area or has a specific need for it, which again, doesn't bring liquidity to your deal. It doesn't bring buyers to your deal because there's not going to be a lot of people for that. So you have to ask yourself the question, how do I know it's a discounted property? If there's no comps and I put my property up on the market for $1 million and then tomorrow I reduce it to 250,000, is it discounted? We don't know because we have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
250,000 could still be getting hosed, right? So what you want to do again in those circumstances, Alberto, if there's no comps, you have to ask yourself, am I wasting my time in this area? Why are we playing in the margins? Why are we playing in the areas in the neighborhoods where there's no liquidity, where there's no action? I'll tell you the reason why. It's laziness. It's because we want, or we're scared. We're only picking the fruit that will talk to us. And the reason why these sellers want to sell in those markets or in those areas is because there's nobody buying there.
Yeah.
So they're willing to just sell because they're like, yeah, people call me, but no one wants to buy this because there's nothing here. It's just been me for the last 40 years.
Well, I usually find from a lead generation standpoint, unless he lives there, typically, what's kind of being taught is you can do pay-per-click, but do it for your whole state, right? Right?
I mean, that's a sham, right? Then when they're telling them to do it for their whole state is because what they want is for you to get things under contract and then tell you the reason why their program didn't work was because you locked it up too high or or you didn't have good buyers or this or that. Guys, don't lock up deals in areas where there's no buyers. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. Nobody wants to invest there.
I could not have said that any better myself. I run into people all the time that profess and promise me that they know what they're doing with pay-per-click. And I'm like, okay, where are you marketing? And they say, well, they're all over the place. I'm like, okay, then you're not selling these deals. You might be getting contracts, but they're not deals. A deal is only when somebody buys it from you. A contract is when you get it from the seller. So these aren't deals. These are just contracts you're getting. And these people who are teaching you how to do PPC or SEO or whatever it is in these random ass markets with no buyers, guys, that's a great freaking point, Jamil. How do I know which market I should be marketing into?
Go find the population. Look at the density. Find the hot spots. I mean, it's so easy.
It's the jewelry store analogy, right? Why are all the jewelry stores clustered together? Because that's where people go to buy jewelry. I mean, is it competitive market? Sure. We're still averaging great deals and finding them all the time. People want to buy in the popular areas. And let me spiral just a little bit because I want to see if there is opportunity in these leads. Pace, when you see something, and I'm sure it comes across your desk or your email or your team or your students, when they find a deal that's maybe a sub 2 opportunity in the middle of nowhere, maybe in an area that's not really up and coming, it's just kind of been there. What do you do there? I mean, is that something that maybe it's a wholesale lead that they get, but they can convert it into something? I mean, I'm just trying to get as much value out of every single lead as possible. So if you can't help the people with a wholesale offer, maybe you can help them with something creative. I don't know. You tell me.
Yes, if it's in an outward area, a lot of times you will be able to creatively sell it because you're able to sell it to the end buyer who might not have credit or a lot of cash, right? So you can either wholesale it, or you can be rapid. And so I tell my students, I go, if it's an outskirt area, just assign it. You know, if it's a sub-tour seller finance deal, just assign it, get out of the deal. If it's in a really strong market, try and stay in the middle of it so you can get monthly cash flow on top of your upfront fee.
Yeah.
But creative finance, which, you know, we don't talk about too much on this particular podcast.
Right.
Creative finance can help you find buyers because it's actually a different buyer. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time when we are doing a cash transaction, we are looking for somebody who is fixing and flipping, right? Or somebody who is buying and holding, an active investor, somebody who's buying multiple properties in that area.
Right.
We're not usually looking for a family to move into that property. Okay.
Right.
Because if it was a family that was going to be buying in that property, then that seller would have just sold it on the MLS. But that's not the situation. So creative finance, because you're bringing terms to the table, you actually can create buyers out of almost nothing. It's kind of crazy, but that's a whole nother conversation. So
no, I think looking at every lead with different options, I think is important to, especially, I mean, listen, I don't think that people should go out and find these deals. I think as you're starting, go in where everybody's looking for opportunities where there's the most cash buyers, because you're going to get the most income the fastest. But if you do want to do a pay-per-click or an SEO type of strategy, or maybe it's, you know, maybe you call somebody, but they own a property that's out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe there's some way to salvage that and assign it to somebody else or make something from it. So either way, it's wholesaling, right?
Right. You're going to that's a great point. You're going to end up wholesaling that deal, a creative deal, to an end buyer. It's a different type of buyer, right? And it's not going to be found on a buyer's list. It's not going to be found even on public record, because this is typically a family that wasn't able to qualify and might not have ever purchased a property ever in their life. Typically, we find these people, we find these people in 13 different places. I won't go through all 13 of them, but I'll go through some pretty obvious ones. Loan officers, when they decline people for getting a loan. Turndowns, right? Loan officer turndowns. Credit repair companies, because people are repairing their credit for one reason and one reason only, is because they want to buy a house, right? Another place to find people is on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. I had one student last year. Her name is Sabina. Jamil has actually met Sabina. She sold a creative finance deal and she had 700 inquiries by promoting it or talking about it on Facebook Marketplace. There is a tremendous amount of buyers for creative finance deals, people who can't get finance any other way. So yes, but still the same thing that Jamil is talking about still applies.
Yeah.
Don't go out into outskirt areas that you're only going to do one deal and find one buyer. Like, you want to be able to go market in places that you can scale a business that can be automated. You guys laughing at something that?
No. I was helping him with the code. He didn't need it. He's like, get off me.
People are just clowning on my figure.
Oh, it's a sexy figure, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh boy.
People are crazy.
Anyway, I think we got a lot of energy here today, Jamil.
Yes.
You know why?
Why?
Because right before the show, Matt was telling us how Hulu is pushing the hell out of your show.
We're on the front page of Hulu, bro.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. How about that? So, guys, I mean, come on. Everybody has Hulu.
Yeah. If you got Hulu, you should be watching Triple
What's
Digit
it called?
Flip. Triple Digit Flip, baby.
What is it?
Triple Digit Flip.
Oh.
Wait, you're joking me. It's on the front page of Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other night I was turned on Hulu on our TV and it was on the front page.
Yep.
Recommended.
Yep.
Recommended, baby. Recommended.
Dude, that's insane.
We're only on episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wowzers.
Momentum, baby.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Can I answer this one real quick? Arturo Cortez says, Pace, when does season 2 of Zero to Hero start? It started this morning.
Awesome.
Yep. It started this morning. We had 1,600 people in the challenge. 800 people showed up for the live this morning, because obviously people have kids and children to drop off at school and jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we recorded the first 2 hours of it this morning live. We sent it out to everybody that registered for it. And then tomorrow, this morning was a live training on exactly what we're planning on doing for 30 days. And then tomorrow, my partner, Matt Beard, myself are going to be out in the field, actually taking the action, giving you guys direction all throughout the day, while you guys watch us do the same exact actions. And then my sub 2 students are going to be helping people who have never done a deal squad up and say, bring your leads to me. I'll help you talk to your sellers if you've never spoken to a seller before. So that is season 2 of Zero to Hero, a 30-day driving for deals challenge using batchdriven.com.
I love it.
Beautiful. I started today. So you've been sleeping on my Instagram, bro. I only posted about 85 times the last 2 weeks.
Come on, Arturo.
Put your freaking notifications on, dog.
There you go. There it is.
Here's one. Christopher Cruz. Jamil, here's a great question for you, brother.
Christopher Cruz asked, is it the right thing to ask a realtor how long the contract is, or does that make it a red flag? So I'm going to insert some words because I think I'm understanding what Christopher's asking. What he wants to know is it a red flag to an agent to ask how long my inspection period is, or how long do I have to close? I would imagine inspection period because we're talking about wholesaling.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wants to know how long is his contract live and in play for him to still make a deal.
See, I read it as him asking how long he's contracted to sell the house, the realtor. So I'm like way off. I think you're right. I think it's inspection.
Okay. I think he's talking about inspection, not listing.
Is the realtor putting the contract together for him?
Well, if he's working with an agent, or if an agent brought him the deal, then yeah, right.
Got it.
So, Chris, that's what I'm assuming you're talking about. Is you're wondering if it's okay to ask an agent how long the inspection period is? Of course, man. Of course, it would be weird if you didn't. Right? An agent is looking for you to know what a contract and what the parts of the contracts are.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say things to you like title, question mark, EMD, question mark, when they use acronyms, when they use these like things that are inside baseball, right? Inside baseball terms for real estate.
What does EMD mean?
Earnest money deposit.
Right. What does COE mean?
Close of escrow, baby. Right? When they're going to ask you these terms, or they start talking in these terms, they want to see, can you hang? Do you know what they're talking about? So getting your hands on a glossary of investor terms is not a bad idea. Right?
IP. Some people write IP instead of inspection.
Exactly,
period.
Right?
Yep.
Inspection period, IP. So you want to kind of know what these fast terms are. You want to know the shorthand. But no, Chris, it's not a red flag for you to ask, how long is my inspection period going to be? You need to schedule contractors. You need to schedule your property inspector. You've got to get all of the people that are relevant to a transaction in the door, and you have only so long to do it. So, of course, you would ask that question.
I love the whole red flag. This is like a thing, right? The little emoji now. It's like on everything.
It's
right?
Yeah. It's flags everywhere.
Even it's like green flags.
Even Pace had it on his Pace is so ahead of the times, bro. If I want to know what's trending in the world, I look at his social media.
I know he's the Gary Vee of real estate. No doubt about it.
He always knows what's up. He always knows what's up.
Here's a follow up to what Christopher Cruz's question was right here. Here's the follow up.
Oh, so he's asking about you.
See? All right,
you answer,
Christopher. Yeah, that's a little bit aggressive. Yeah, I wouldn't ask. Hey, when are you outside of your ability to make money? I would just you could the typical listing agreement is 180 days, so 6 months. Now some sellers shorten that down to half that, 90 days. So about 90 days you want to keep an eye on it and see what's going on and see if at day 91 they still are working with that property owner. But then from there, I mean, if it's been on the market 91 days in this market, that's the red flag right there. Usually homeowners at that point are asking way too much for the property. So I would look at the way that I would filter the MLS deals is, does this need renovation? Does it need some sort of love? If these are really, really, really beautiful houses and they've been upgraded, but they're just staying on the market long, it's because the sellers just, they're just trying to push the value on it, and they're not going to take that. But if it needs some love, if it needs some serious renovation, those are the ones that I would encourage you to go after.
Thank you, Jody. You're amazing.
I really like this comment. Check this out. Jody says, I'm making new investor connections by telling people my mentor is Jamil. the star of Triple Digit Flip. And I send them a link to the show just using all the ammo I have to impress others. Ha, ha, ha. So Jody, I love this. I actually have a student yesterday DMs me and says, I got my first contract because I told the seller that you were my partner.
Yep.
And I sent them a link to your show and the seller signed the contract. How weird is that that's even a possible piece of credibility?
Use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah. We've had, I mean, deals between and joint ventures between TTP and Astro, TTP and Sub 2 TTP. I mean, you say TTP, people know that you're getting deals. They know that you're generating the leads.
Day long.
Yeah.
First place I teach my students to go is go to TTP and Astro students. Go to TTP. Those people are doing deals.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome.
This is probably a good question for Brent Daniels. You talk about this a little bit more than most people.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it just depends on how many you're sending out. You know, typically you get breaks the more that you send them out, and it depends on which company you're using. We use batch leads, and they keeps it very, very, very reasonable for us. But that's pretty typical. I mean, some of them, you know, back in the day, it was like a quarter of a cent or something. But as the carriers, the cell phone carriers really started blocking all those, and the deliverability went down. You got to use a really quality platform to be able to text blast. Yeah. But I still think that it's good. I think that you should be very smart about what you text blast. I think that you should watch and see, you know, if you're making calls, you're already skip tracing them. So you might as well double dip with text blasting, as long as you're, you know, within the guidelines, which is tough for you not to be, because they'll just block your text anyway. But I think it's smart to be able to do both, especially if you got a young kid that's interested in the business, or you've got a friend, or you've got, you know, some family members that don't mind texting all day and think that that's cool. I think it's a great way to bring people into what you're doing, and it's going to give you some opportunities.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Just make sure that you're pre-qualifying them like anything else.
I would say that this is a Jamil question right now. Scooter Longway. That's a dope ass name. I feel like that's a comic book character's name.
Scooter Longway. That's a good name. That's a good name. The best way to conduct a walkthrough with multiple buyers. Oh my gosh. And it's a tenant occupied property. Thank you for specifying if it was owner or tenant. Yeah. Totally different situation.
Sure.
But here's the thing. You want to, first and foremost, neutralize the tenant. Show up with a dessert. Show up with something for that tenant to just let them know that you're appreciative of them letting you in the house.
Did you just say neutralize the tenant?
Yes. Because you know what a tenant will do?
I love that.
They will, the first thing they're going to do when people come through is they're going to be like, this sucks, this is broken, this is shit, this over here caught fire, there's mold everywhere, I can't even breathe. Like, they don't want you to buy the house, right? So they're there to block the sale. They are there to like upturn and create all kinds of drama for you and your buyers. So you got to neutralize that tenant, and you do that with a cinnamon roll. It's my cinnamon roll approach. I've talked about this on my Instagram before, and I'm going to tell you again. Show up with a tasty treat for the tenant. Show up 15, 20 minutes early. Go ahead, talk to them. Tell them what they're going to expect. You're going to let them know. I'm going to be walking through with my contractors and other people that are relevant to the deal. While I'm doing that, it would be best if you either stepped outside and waited in your car, or went on a walk, took your dog out for a walk, or just ate this cinnamon roll somewhere off the property, just so that we can do this. I'll be done in 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will leave. Then what you do is you have all of the people that show up to that property showing, and you meet them outside of the house before you walk into the house together. You have everybody show up at the same time. You don't do this with 4 or 5 different times. You have everybody come at the same time, and you tell them the rules of the game on the lawn. What are the rules of the game? Don't talk to anybody. Don't ask any questions. If you have any questions, direct them to me once we walk out of the property. If you violate any of these rules, I won't do business with you. Do you understand? Yes, we're not to talk price. We're not to talk condition. We're not to talk about anything when we're in the house. You're going to see what you're going to need to see. You're going to take the pictures, and we'll communicate outside. Are you ready? Let's go. You go in, you do that. When you tell people and you show people how professional you are, how organized you are, and how you know how to run a showing, they're not going to break those rules, baby. They won't. Not only that, but when you get outside, now you can start asking questions. Now you can start saying, hey, so which of you guys are going to buy it, or are all you guys going to buy it? Because if you are, I brought a deck of cards so we can choose which of you is going to get the deal. I'm not going to make you guys bid this up, but I will pick the one who wins the draw. That's how you rock that showing, bro.
Love it.
That's so good, dude. If they follow all the rules, do they get their own cinnamon?
If you brought them, I mean, hey, you know what? They sell them in packs of 12. You might as well just go get a box. Make everybody happy.
Yeah. Everybody's day's better with a cinnamon.
Everybody's day with a Cinnabon. Come on.
I want one.
Ooh, Boone says, can you answer the same question but owner occupied, Jamil?
The only difference, Boone, is that the tenant is going to try to kill your deal. Okay. The seller, the difference that when a seller is involved is your buyers are going to try to talk to that seller. So you have to run interference the entire time. You got to get between, either bring another person with you to communicate with the seller and keep the seller busy, or you've got to run interference between the seller and that buyer. And how do you do that? What you do is you tell the buyers to do their walkthrough. You take the seller into another room and you talk to the seller while everybody's walking around in the house. When everybody's ready to leave, that's when you leave the seller.
Miriam, go to the door. Go to the door, Miriam. Don't call them. Don't text them. I'm telling you, you got to go to the door. I don't know what. Maybe that's in their market. I haven't felt it.
Well,
here.
I looked at the Cromford report and I watched what they had to say. So, Miriam, if you look at it, yes, it's because of the pandemic. They've lifted moratoriums in places, and so now foreclosures didn't surge. Pre-foreclosures, notices of default surged by a tremendous amount. But guess what? All of those houses built tremendous amount of equity in the amount of time that foreclosure came into existence. So none of these guys are upside down on their house. None of these people are going to foreclose, but many of them could be potential sellers. So all that you got was a 69% surge in opportunity.
I'm telling you guys, pre-foreclosures. I mean, Pace, talk to me about it. Go to the door, right?
Bro, I'm telling you, there is no better way to get a deal than a pre-foreclosure going straight to the door.
And just do you guys have that on batch driven?
Yes, batch driven. If you go to the middle package, it gives you all the pre-foreclosures already predetermined in the app, and it looks like it looks like Pokemon Go for real estate. Just all the pre-foreclosures laid out on a map, nice and pretty for you. It tells you exactly where they all are.
So you could just drive and just hit the doors that are in pre-foreclosure.
Or text them, right? Yeah. Or text them if that's what you want to do. But for us, knocking doors is the fastest way to get a deal with a foreclosure. In fact, if I make this joke all the time, but it's real. If I told Matt on my team, go get a deal right now.
Yeah.
Here's what he does. He opens up batch driven. He looks for the pre-foreclosures and he goes directly to the door and starts knocking. Says, are you in foreclosure? Do you need help? 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 That's it. That's simple. It's easy.
Can you filter by equity?
Yeah, you can filter by anything.
Can you filter by how many years they've owned the property?
Yes, you can.
I mean, pre-foreclosure, owned it for over 7 years.
Oh, you're in business.
Built before 1990.
Oh my gosh. That's what we buy.
I mean, come on.
Ooh, there it is. I like this one. Jamil, I'm curious of your thoughts here because I believe the answer is yes. Very, very much so. Louis III, thank you for rising from the dead, Louis III. Are flippers seasonal? Does the winter of the Twin Cities in Minnesota affect the amount of cash buyers available? My personal opinion, Jamil's going to know this way more than me. I tell people I used to work in Utah as a contractor, and we did half as much work in the winter as we did in the summertime. And it is very seasonal in cold environments. Jamil, do you feel like buyers are less active in the wintertime during the in cold areas?
There's a slight drop off in buyer activity in colder areas, Pace, but it's not enough for business not to continue happening. The only thing that you see happen, and this is pretty steady in every market, it's independent of weather, is around the holiday times.
Yeah,
buy and hold buyers, fix and flip buyers, all buyers stop buying. And they do that because they go on holiday, or they don't want to have properties where they're trying to do renovations during the holiday time. So they want to come back and start purchasing after the fact, after the holidays are over. So yes, there is some seasonality with respect to when cash buyers want to pick up property. And that actually corresponds with what is happening in the retail space. A lot of these people are just cash flowing their flips, right? So a flip closes, they pull their money out, they buy another one. The flip closes, they pull their money out, they buy another one. That's how they roll. And so if they can't sell a house in Thanksgiving to Christmas time, that means that they're not going to get their money out of that house until January, which means that they're probably not going to buy until the middle of January. But what I can tell you, one of my busiest days, and this is like this every single year, is December 26th.
Yep.
December 26th is one of my busiest days at Keegley. We sell more houses that day than we typically do any day of the year.
Why is that?
Because people have been sitting on their butts
That's right.
for like 10 days and they want to get back to work and buy a house.
Well, and also, I mean, listen, I mean, people are off. Title companies are off during the holidays.
Yeah.
So it all falls, and people want to get. They gotta put their money somewhere before the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
They got to do it. Yep.
Hey,
Well, listen,
Jamil, thank you for selling me a deal today, by the way.
Dude, I wanted to buy that.
I know. I told my wife sends it over, and I go, if we don't buy that, Jamil will buy that.
It was in Gilbert. It was a stucco tile.
Yep.
It was completely clean.
Yep.
And it backs a green. It backs a green belt.
Okay.
Model match.
Yeah.
Not backing a green belt.
Yeah.
Like piss poor renovation.
Yeah.
Was sold. So we sold. What did we sell to you at? Like
So
540.
Like an iBuyer.
530.
What
was it?
540.
540.
Yeah.
The comp was 691 in Gilbert.
Yeah, it needs. I'd say it needs a $40,000 renovation. So I'll be all into it, like maybe 600 after carry costs, closing costs, utilities, everything. We'll sell it for 690, maybe 699, because we'll do a kick-ass renovation, and maybe more. I mean,
yeah,
the renovation on the deal is really interesting. My comp. I almost want to pull this up. Can I pull it up?
Pull it up. Yeah, let's analyze this deal. You guys know that I have to buy deals from Keegley, like everybody has to buy deals from Keegley. So I was competing against Laura.
Wait. So you don't get it at the price they locked it up at?
No, I buy it at the public price.
Right.
My team's got to eat.
Yeah.
I'm chasing him down a lot of times on his own deals.
By the way, guys, we don't have like plants in Arizona, so a green belt is. Somebody put green belt question. That's just our attempt at having grass and green in neighborhoods.
You want to see these ugly photos?
Look,
that was a rehab. That was the renovated house. I mean,
okay, what year do you think this was renovated? By the way, look at this.
My guess is going to be with that rustic floor. So it's not gray, it's not white, it's rustic. That was 2017.
Yeah.
No,
I was going to go 13.
I'm thinking this was 2012, 2013.
We didn't get rustic until 17. I'm going to see what I'm saying.
I'm telling you.
Are you serious? Come on, dog.
See, when did it get renovated? Does it say?
We can read the notes.
Let's look at it.
But it does have that beigey brown walls. Maybe you guys are right, because that brown tone was like, no, there's too much white in there. What's it say?
5 years. You might be right.
I might be right. 2016.
Floor.
Okay, but that's a 2017, 2016 floor, right? Come on, guys.
All right.
Okay. So it's a 4-year-old remodel.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so let's look at this little deal here, and I'll then go over to the house that we bought. So model match. Their landscape in the front yard is good. Exterior paint's done, but it's an outdated remodel. This is not what people are looking for anymore. Look at they've got carpet right here in the main living room. Guys, just spend the extra $400 and put the tile all the way to the freaking baseboard. My gosh.
Look at them tiny little baseboards.
So what
too.
did this one sell for?
This sold for $691.
Yeah, this sold for $691. Look at this. Is there
a pool in the backyard on that one Pace? I forget.
What's that?
Is there a pool in the comp?
Yeah, they have a kick-ass pool. Let me pull it up. Let me get there.
You also
but
have
look
a
at the
pool.
bathroom. Like, look how basic the bathroom is. They didn't change any of this lower, like, hang down area right here, right? The shower is just still that cultured marble. They did a new shower door, so that's really inexpensive.
I love all those clothes just hanging out in that picture.
Oh, it's the best. Love it. And
With the crib.
then
The baby crib.
these are original cabinets. They just painted the original cabinets, kept the white cultured marble. They did a new mirror, new toilet, new tile, or not new tile, but new toilet. Then they have an in-ground trampoline, which I thought this was really funny because Brent, did you ever jump on the trampoline with your homies? And don't you think you would have like crashed somebody into this thing?
That is, my wife would absolutely make me rip that out immediately.
That's
Oh,
like
100%.
that's an injury waiting to
Oh
happen.
my God.
So bad.
What are they doing? That
So bad. So, but they've got nice pavers, Jamil. They got a little sand pit. I think that's what that is.
Are you comfortable pulling up the deal that you bought?
Yeah.
It's
I'll
not
pull
a
it up. I'm
kick-ass
gonna pull it up
pool
right now.
Pace. That's just a pool, dog.
Yeah, I gotta
Let
pull.
them
I gotta
know.
pull up what our competition is first. Let me pull up this other deal. So I ran through it. Cody came to me and he's like, "Hey, what do you think we'll spend in renovation?" I told him we're gonna budget for 35 and end up spending 40. Let me pull it up.
What are you going to do with this property?
I'm gonna fix and flip this one.
Got it.
We do a lot of fix and flip. So let's see here.
Going to pull up your bank account there, Pacer?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see it, let's do it.
No.
You might be like, dude, this guy has no money. Okay, so you guys had it. You guys, where'd this come from?
I
Jamil?
just looked. I was looking at it at 565.
Where'd you get it from? Is this from an agent?
That probably came from an agent. Yeah.
Because they had it listed too high, right?
Was it on the MLS? Then definitely came from an agent relationship.
Okay, cool. So I don't like the river rock in the front yard. It definitely needs exterior paint. It's lacking some, love there. It's a basic remodel, dude. It's lipstick. It's like paint the cabinets, I'd probably put new countertops and I'd put a new surround here. Tile. The cabinets in the other house weren't even that nice, but we'll do new white cabinets there. Keep it basic, but update it. It's really simple.
Yep.
Simple.
Laura got the deal. My wife.
She beat me. Yeah.
You know what's great
this
about?
close. I was messaging my dispo rep. Hey, I want to take that one.
Yeah.
And I looked in our Slack channel. I was like, crap. So I texted Laura. I was like, nice grab. Dang it.
Dude,
It was
my
good, though. That's
wife
brother. I
just
want you to get it.
here's how simple this business really is. Okay. I call this like bare bones wholesaling. All my wife does is she has her fingers like with Keegley and a couple of our other friends, and she'll bring a deal a week to the table to our company. That's it. Just a deal a week. She probably spends 2 hours a week looking at this stuff. And my wife probably bring a commission to herself, not as the agent. She will sell that and make money as an agent, but we will pay her a commission for bringing that deal to the partnership and underwriting it and getting it secured. My wife probably makes 15 to 20 grand a month just bringing deals to us.
Yep.
From other wholesalers. It's real. If you just do that, you find a fix and flip like me and go to the Keegley franchises. And so many people ask me, Jamil, why wouldn't I just go get that deal myself? Why do I need my wife's help?
Bro, you got stuff to do.
I have
you
no
were talking
time.
to 800 people today.
I have no time whatsoever. And so we pay people to bring us deals.
Yep.
That's what wholesale is about. Brent, why would a cash buyer not just go out and cold call themselves? Why doesn't a fix and flipper just go out and knock doors themselves?
Because they want to fix and flip. They want to add to their rental portfolio. They want the properties. They don't want the emotions of the property owner. We get paid to solve the problems of the property owners that we're going after. And it takes a lot of time.
It's a full-time job.
takes
Finding the opportunities is a full-time job.
Listen, it is a skill that can be learned. It's a skill that can be improved, but it is a skill. And a lot of people don't want to develop that skill. They just want the properties and they just want to fix and flip this thing. And, I think that this is an interesting question from Daniel on focusing on more buy and hold buyers versus fix and flip buyers. I will say, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this because you've got, you've got Keegley across the country. I feel like that's more for a cash flow market more than an appreciation market like we're in, because the biggest deals that we get are properties that need a lot of love,
right?
A lot of fix up. These are not move-in ready properties. We make way more, triple, quadruple more on deals that are fix and flip than we do on rentals, but maybe it's different in other markets.
You hit the nail on the head, right? So in specific markets, Daniel, you're only going to be focusing on buy and hold buyers. When you're in places like Birmingham, Alabama, where to fix up the house, it's going to cost you $50,000 and it would only be worth $80,000 or $70,000 fixed up anyways, who's going to do that deal? However, you might be able to get $1,500 a month once that property is fixed up. So who's going to do that deal as a buy and hold? A lot more people. So Daniel, it rather than making a sweeping generalization of, hey, I'm going to focus on this instead of this, bigger fees, la, la, la. What you should do is look at it case by case and never just focus on one thing. I can promise you that businesses ebb and flow. Buying criteria ebbs and flows. Buy and hold investors will ebb and flow in the market and out of the market. Right now, in some areas for buy and hold people, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive. They're looking for other opportunities. So Daniel, do you want your business to die out when the buy and hold people think it's too expensive in the area that you're doing business? No, you should be getting buyers that will fill both criteria so that you've got options, on any and every deal that you bring to the table. So again, love where you're thinking, but what I'd like to add to that would be don't say if and, look at it. How do we do both?
And let me ask you this, Pace. You know, when you're looking at adding a property to your portfolio, is there a certain amount, is there limitations to the condition that you're looking for? Because listen, the fact is, if you buy a property, even if it is to keep it, if it's in really rough shape.
He's in Massachusetts, so he's definitely in fix and flip land. It's too expensive for buy and hold out there, brother.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But Pace, is there a limitation to, you know what, I'm going to keep this one, or I'm going to just, send this to somebody else based on the condition of the property? What I'm trying to get at is, if the condition is, something that needs a big renovations, are rental buyers still buying them?
Yes.
That aren't turnkey rental companies.
We do it all the time. I'd never buy turnkey rental. I wouldn't. Me personally, I'm going to tell you, just as
no,
me
not us. No. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was just going to say, I would never buy a turnkey property because somebody else just extracted all the juice out of the deal.
All of it. Even more probably, because you have to buy in cash typically.
Yeah. And those turnkey buyers or sellers are incredibly intelligent. So no knock to them, but we know how to source our own deals. So for me, I would never buy a turnkey deal. But for buyers that are doing buy and hold, which we do a lot of buy and hold, I would say the main thing we look at is cash on cash return. Okay. So if I have a large outlay on my construction, well, my down payment to the seller better be incredibly low, right? Those things have to balance themselves out. I'd say right now we have 4 properties in renovation right now that are going to be in our portfolio. They're seller finance deals, and the renovations are under $15,000. That's ideal. I would love that all day long. But in smaller markets, like look at Christina Aguilera from last week. She said she was buying $25,000 properties and putting 20 grand into them.
Right.
Like it is, again, case by case basis in every individual market. Like Jamil says, there's certain markets that just are too expensive right now for buy and hold, unless you are doing Airbnb. These markets are incredibly expensive.
Yep.
There was a comment there by Randy Evans. Can you pull it up? Because I think it really ties into what we started our chat with today. I'm in a pickle, guys. I'm micro flipping a deal. Essentially, he got a deal from an acquisition wholesaler, like possibly a TTP or somebody else just doing marketing lead gen, and he's dispoing it through Keegley. So that's a pure micro flip there. Buyer, we have a buyer. We found a buyer. They're ready to deposit earnest money right now. But the other wholesaler is not okay with them having to split $7,000 and making $3,500 each, and us getting $5,000. So Randy, again, you got to look at this in one of two ways. You got to say, what am I willing to give up? If Keegley has got a minimum amount, and that's what it is, it costs us money to market deals. It costs us money to staff our staff and to do the things we're doing. $5,000 is a deal, to be honest with you. So the fact that they were even willing to do that is great. But the fact that the other wholesaler is not wanting to get a buyer in and do the deal when he doesn't even have his own buyer, when he doesn't have a competing offer, and is ready to walk away from $3,500 because someone else is making more money than him, I think that's the time for you to have some coaching with the guy, to talk to him a little bit about the way he's thinking. And if you can't get him to come around to the way that you're thinking, then maybe it's a conversation of, okay, what are you willing to give up to the other guy to make him feel good about it? Remember, he brought more value to the table, in all honesty, than you did, right? He brought the deal. Keegley brought the buyer. You're in the middle. So if you have to bend a little bit to make the guy happy, to bring him an opportunity, and you make some money, it's better to keep the relationship with the acquisition wholesaler and make them happy. And it's also good to establish a relationship with a dispo wholesaler. In this instance, it's Keegley. I don't even know the deal you're talking about, Randy, so I'm just speaking. But it's good to establish relationships. And if in the meantime, you get paid $2,000 or $1,500 to do that because you had to give $2,000 of it away to the other guy so he feels good about making more money, then great. You've got to figure out what math makes the deal work. But having a stonewall where you're saying, okay, well, if you're not going to make 35 and I'm not going to make 35, then we're not going to do the deal. Then guess what ends up happening? On day 9 of the inspection period, this person's going to want that buyer to come back and actually perform or do this deal, and that buyer will be gone. This is how people lose their shit in this business. That exact mindset.
Love it. Can we go to Chris Islis up there? He said, okay, this is about wholesale question and answers. Chris, if you have a specific question, we'd love to hear it, bud. Sorry, sometimes we go off on different tangents. We're excited about real estate. So if you have a specific question, make sure that you ask it, bud, and we'll pop you on here. All right. And check that out. But yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's tough to get people to really understand that when everybody wins, everybody wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Do your best, Randy.
I want to answer this one. Samuel Aronov, what's your minimum profit margin for fix and flips? My minimum profit margin we shoot for is 10% of the sales price needs to be my net profit.
That's right.
So let's say I sell a house for $500,000. I want to net 50 grand. That's my goal. Okay. That's minimum. Now we do deals making 75, 100,000, 150,000. On the TV show this year, we had, what was the biggest deal you think we made? There was one that was like $280,000 is probably.
Yeah. I think we did. Haver was probably, or Vernon. Where
had to have been Haver.
Yep.
Haver was well over $200,000 profit margin. Those don't come around all that often, but they do come around the more you're in the game. But for us, it's a minimum of 10%. So let's say Jamil's team at Keegley sends me a deal, which they do frequently. And I can sell it for 400, but I want to make, if I sell it for 400 after renovation, I know I want to walk away with $40,000. That's my minimum.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if it is a bare minimum, like lipstick flip, I'm not going to lose any money. There's no way. It's a freaking grand slam, easy deal. Throw paint and carpet on the thing, and I can make 7.5%. I'll still do it. But it's just easy. Like I'm cleaning it up, throwing it on the market, and I'm going to walk away making 30 grand on it. I'll do that all day long. Okay. Now I'm going to answer another question for that. This is interesting. Let's say that I'm going through the winter months, right? And I have a slower pipeline because maybe less people are sending me deals, or my team is, wholesaling deals and my crew needs work. I will jump on a deal if I know I'm going to walk away making $10,000 on it just to keep my people busy. But that's an advanced strategy. I would never suggest that to people. But yes, we do it from time to time. Maybe 1 project, 2 projects a year. We'll jump on knowing we're going to make a small amount of money just to keep people busy. But it's very rare. But I'm just being honest. I'm being a full disclosure, full open book. But most of the time we're aiming for 10% or higher.
That's great. And listen, how does that relate to wholesaling is the question. This is a cash buyer. You just peered inside the mind of a real cash buyer. These are things, if you pull out everything that's going on, everything that we're saying ties back to sourcing real estate, right? Lead generation, converting that to a signed agreement, and then dispo, right? So all of it plays in there. It might not be as on the nose as, the best list is a driving for dollars list with pre-foreclosures that were built before 1990 and have been owned for 7 years. I get it. But all of this is, I'm telling you, this is like next level stuff here. You got to really pull in what is being said here. What is the applicable, kind of education that I'm getting here. He just said, as things are slowing down in the winter months, I'm looking at something different. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. You can apply that to your business so that you can get more deals sold. All right. And that's the whole goal of the show. Jamil and Pace and Brent, what are your thoughts on Zillow pulling out of the flipping game temporarily? Are you surprised? It happens all the time.
Yeah, and they didn't pull out of the flipping game. They just temporarily suspended
purchasing.
And the reason that they did that is because they have to exit out of all the things that they've been buying for the last 12 months. So I don't think it's indicative of guys. There's so much private equity in the market right now. There's so much Wall Street money. There's so much Silicon Valley money. United States homeowners or United States citizens don't own. Well, let me word this better. Your average U.S. citizen doesn't own more real estate now than companies do, than large, big investment companies do. There isn't going to be enough houses for people to own in the future. Let's call it what it is. Mm-hmm. They're absorbing so many of American homes.
Why? For rent?
For rent. And to
what does that control?
Against inflation.
That's right. So what, they buy enough so that they can control the real estate market?
They set the rent. They get to set the cash flow. Mm-hmm. Right? And if they own enough, then they create the demand.
It's a timing thing. You
100%.
Only have to own them for a certain amount of time before, right? Yeah.
What do you think, Pacer?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, you and I saw it on one of our flips this year, how intelligent Open Door is in messing with the purchase price and the sales price of houses. They own so many houses that they sell one and it affects their entire portfolio within a quarter mile of that house. And let's say they sell one house at a high price. It basically what they've essentially done. Actually, no,
they buy one at a high price.
They acquire, there you go. They acquire it at a very high price. They set a comp, which then raises the price of that entire neighborhood, homeowners as well. And they end up making, I don't know what they made in that transaction, probably $5 million, maybe more.
Yeah. By overpaying on one house.
Right.
Can we go to John's Joe there? Pace, do you mind if I tackle that one?
Of course. Yeah. Let me roll up there. You guys must be a little bit higher than I am
got
right
it
now.
There we go. Joan, so great question here. I think that this could be helpful for everybody. First of all, let's all remove the word convince. I know what you meant by it. I know that it's not like you're like whatever, but convince is you're never going to convince anybody to sell their property. You're not. I mean, you could be the most wordsmithy, you could put on the best presentation, you could be incredible, but convince is not the right word. Really what we're doing is we're deal finders, we're not deal creators. Like, let that all sink into your head. There's no magic words. We are deal finders, not creators. So, Jones, what you want to do is approach them and ask them about the condition of the property and then ask them about their timeline. That's going to give you a really good indication. The way that you ask about the timeline is typically I can get you your money in the next 2 weeks or 30 days. Do you have a preference, 2 weeks or 30 days? Oh, no, I can't get my money then. Okay. Well, and then this is going to tell you the motivation. If you know the condition and the condition's rough, that's where the bigger deals are going to be. And their timeline is not always, but usually the condition's either dated or need some serious renovation. The condition, the timeline, they're going to give you the motivation. And that's going to really let you know, is this somebody that is going to be best served by a cash as is offer? If not, refer them to a great real estate agent. If not, help them, whatever, clean up their house a little bit or, take care of them a little bit, bring them some food, just be a great neighbor, whatever it is. But if what they're looking for, because they have the condition, timeline, and motivation and the right price, they're looking for a cash offer, that's who we do business with. Every single time, that's who we find. These people come to us if we talk to enough people. That's the whole thing. If we talk to enough people, I don't care if you're doing marketing, I don't care if you're getting referrals, I don't care if you're being proactive, whatever you want to do, you got to talk to enough people to hit your financial goals. All right. And when you do that, you're going to find a lot of opportunities inside that. So don't try to fit somebody into your buy box that's not really ready. And it's best served listing it with a real estate agent or something like that. All right.
Jamil, do you guys buy properties and fix your properties and buy it yourself just to raise the market's value like Open Door does?
No, that's called mortgage fraud.
Well, they're buying it cash,
but they're buying it. They're buying it cash. They're buying it cash.
They're
and they
just
can pay
raising
whatever they
money
want
from somebody else. Yeah.
Yep. But you can't sell to yourself. That's not an arm's length transaction. And if you do, that's just like and you can't do it I guess you could transfer it at a higher price, but I mean, I don't know, for cash, only for cash. That would be the only way you could do it.
It's a very, 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 very expensive and long-term strategy.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I bet it pencils out. If you look at it, I bet on some chart and somebody's computer, it pencils out to pay whatever cash, raise as much cash.
Yep. And pay whatever.
They're paying people on this cash, right? They're raising it and they're paying those people. The people giving them the cash are getting a return. They're holding this long term to finally get the payoff somewhere 15, 20 years down the line or whatever it is. Who knows? But no.
Glenn Benet says, what should be my conversation with the seller tomorrow that tells me he needs to think about my seller finance offer? Huge house in Phoenix, could be a great deal. Glenn, DM your boy Pace Morby and I will close the deal for you. It's in Phoenix. I'm your buyer. Stop messing around like you don't know who the person that can close this deal is, and stop messing around like you don't know who the buyer is.
Why are you messing around, Glenn?
Why are you messing around,
Getting
buddy?
these DMs, bro. Getting my DMs real quick.
Slide in.
Brent, are you excited about the Closers Olympics, by the way?
I am so pumped. This is going to be absolutely bananas. On Wednesday, I'm going to have Elijah Rubin on the live show. He's going to be on at 11 o'clock, but don't miss the first half of it. We're going to be talking about closing more deals, being more effective with your negotiations and getting bigger deals. But the Closers Olympics is going to put the best of the best on display. And it's like, what, 100? How much is it right now? Is it $97?
I told Elijah he's stupid.
Is it $97?
Yes, it's so dumb. I'm like, bro, people spend $30 at Starbucks every morning.
It's like 30 hours of training. I mean, it's like 30 hours,
3
right?
days. It's 3 days of watching other people close deals.
Yeah.
And then watching you and I and Sean Terry and Max Maxwell judge those people from our perspective and our vantage point.
I know.
Are you kidding me? When I was brand new, I would have spent 10 grand on that.
Yeah.
Is she a judge in that?
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
Who, Lauren?
No, Christina.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be bananas, guys. Definitely check that out. I think it's on all of our social medias. We'll get real loud about it when it comes up, but it's that the first weekend in November, Friday, Saturday,
Dan
Saturday.
Quijano says, I want Pace to compete. Just saying, bro.
I know, Dan.
I would love to compete. When Elijah and them reached out to me about it in year one, I told them no, because Jamil and I were traveling at the time.
Yep.
I said, definitely reach out to me for year two. I had no idea that we were going to be on a freaking TV show. And what's so funny is today when I was on Elijah Rubin's Instagram Live, A&E came in and nose swabbed me like unexpected, unannounced, because that's what living life on a TV show is like. They just walk in. Hi, hey, your COVID tester is here, Pace. And I'm like, I'm on an Instagram Live. Yep, we need to get it done right now. And on the Instagram Live, you can see me getting my COVID test on IG Live.
Yep.
What I told Elijah is because of the TV show and the unpredictability of mine and Jamil's schedule, we have no idea. Like, we're filming tomorrow. We're still filming for season 1 tomorrow. I have no idea when we're going to be finished. So I would love to participate, but can you put me in an area to participate that if I have to bail out, it doesn't cause an issue.
Right.
And he's like, absolutely, we'll have you as a judge. And I was like, ugh. I'm honored to be a judge, but at the end of the day, I want to compete. So
Sure.
I'm sorry, but the schedule doesn't permit, and I don't know if I can even be there for every day of judging as well. So,
but like for real, it gets recorded. You get access to it, I think, for forever. And I think it goes up to like $300 the week of or something, right? $297 or $190. I don't know. I know that
even if it was $397 right now, I look at that and I'm like, Brent, don't you think that would be like the craziest value? And
I mean, guys, literally we get nothing out of this. It's not like, we get some sort of, whatever. bump on it. It's a lot of fun. These are people around the country that are going, they're going to go hard. I'm so pumped. Is Steve doing? No, Max is.
Yeah.
Max is doing it. We've got Lauren.
Lauren Hardy?
No. Vidalis's sister-in-law.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Lauren
Kroll?
Kroll.
Oh, she's awesome.
She is a.
Can I say something just real quick to our audience, real quick?
Yeah.
Like for real.
So anybody in our audience, there's 2 open spots to compete. And I'm going to tell you right now, Munif, Don Rich, Dan Quijano, a lot of my students right now in the side chat that are watching this live, you guys need to DM Elijah Rubin the word closer.
Yep.
And he will give you a tryout to get into one of the 2 remaining spots in the Closers Olympics. And I guarantee you, if one of my sub 2 students gets in there, they will take the entire cake.
Woo!
I'll bet Elijah Rubin $5,000 that if one of my student doesn't get into the program and doesn't win, I'll give him $5,000.
Let's go, Munif. What are you doing, bro?
I love it. Hey guys, you can just Google close. I mean, I know we have a link and whatever else, but Closers Olympics, just Google it. I mean, you can't miss it. It's right there. So there you go. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Last year I was the judge for it. It was a long 2 days. And I'm really glad that it was opened up to a bunch of different judges, a lot of different people competing. It's going to be really great. Some of the people that you're like, I wonder if they're legit or not. You see them on Instagram, you see them on Facebook, you see them on their YouTubes and whatever.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Anyway.
All right, here we go. A lot of people, if you don't know that, I'll say this one last thing. If you guys want to compete in the Closers Olympics, you could DM Elijah Rubin the word closer.
Yep.
All right. And he will give you a tryout. All right. Evan Gross, who are the best and most investor-friendly title companies in Michigan? Evan, I would reach out to my sub 2 students in my Creative Finance with Pace Morby Facebook group, and you will get connected with a title company. People are closing deals in my sub 2 mentorship all the time, not only for wholesale, but also for creative finance. Also, another person to reach out to is a good friend of the show, Jory Alston.
Love it. By the way, I love that he posted that. That's what you need. That's how you reach out. That's how you get the inside scoop. You know what I mean? Dude. That's how you find really incredible people, is just being loud and being out there and participating, squatting up. I love it.
Jamil,
also,
I don't know anything
reach
about
out to
Agenda
Carson
21.
Demick in Michigan. Carson Demick. He's doing a ton of deals out there.
Jamil, do you know what this Agenda 21 is? I'm not up to speed on this.
I don't know what it is, but let's read this. How does Agenda 21 and sustainable development impact the future of wholesaling and owning real estate in the future, in your guys' opinion? You know what, Kobe? I don't know what Agenda 21 is, but I'll read about it, and we'll let you know what we think.
We'll cut through it quick.
Oh, it's a very high level thing. It says Agenda 21 is a non-binding action plan of the United Nations with regard to sustainable development. It is waste of our time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's about as much effect as it has
Yeah.
On the future of wholesaling and owning real estate in America. The United Nations can't do shit. I'm sorry, they can't. They can't get countries to do anything.
I mean, it literally says it's a non-binding action plan.
Non-binding action plan.
Yeah.
Even the binding action plans that nobody does anything about.
When was it written? 1992. Okay. Yeah.
Sherry says it's already been implemented in all your local planning departments. Sorry.
Well, then hasn't affected us.
Hasn't affected us.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Well, I think that only puts a stamp of approval on the fact that we are still wholesaling, we're still buying and holding, and if it's already been implemented, then it has an effect. Here's how affected we have been. We don't even know about it. That's how affected we've been. All right. Jones Joe says, so I have a lead and that house is on active foreclosure auction list. The homeowner owes the mortgage company $136,000. So my question is, what would be the appropriate way for me to approach him and how? Okay, Jones Joe, I want you to go watch the #1 video on YouTube right now. Okay. It is the most important video you could watch. It is the #1 video on wholesaling ever made on YouTube. And it is called Pre-foreclosure Mastery. And it is on Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. I'm going to give you guys the link to it right now. Oh my gosh,
And by the way,
it has 500 million views.
I wish, but it is a great video. It gives everything that you need there. Jones, I don't know if owing 136 is a deal.
Right. What's it worth?
So, you know, it's tough to know that.
When you're done watching that video, then go watch the second best video on YouTube, which is me teaching people how to comp. So that you can understand what's this property worth,
right? And
if 136 owing is actually a thing or not.
Nice,
you know.
Yep.
And what was that? Was her name Cherie? Can you? We're not saying that this, what was it? Action Plan 21. Agenda 21 isn't a real thing. It sounds like it is. You were working at a county building, municipality or whatever when it was getting implemented, and that's cool. But the fact that it came into being in 1992, some point you saw it coming into play, never affected us in the wholesale business, hasn't affected me. I don't even know about it, right? So again, I appreciate that this has happened, but it hasn't had an effect.
I love this one. Javon says, linked up with 2 sub-2 students from the Facebook group. They're talking about my free creative finance Facebook group to close a pre-foreclosure lead here in South Carolina. $10,000 assignment closing on Wednesday. Boom. From simply reaching out.
Come on.
I'm telling you guys,
well done,
squatting up is incredibly valuable. You've got the trained students that can help you out. TTP students, Astro students, and trained sub-2 students can help you get these deals done. Somebody joined my free Facebook group, linked in with my students, and made $10,000. That's insane.
Worth is $400K on that deal. That's nice.
I want to just say that one more time.
Yeah, say it.
Somebody joined my free creative financing Facebook group and linked in with my students who have been trained, and they didn't pay me $1, and they made $10,000 by simply taking action and squatting up with trained professionals.
That's right.
$10,000.
Amazing.
Can that be overstated enough?
Nope.
I think it is so commonplace for all 3 of us to have this. This happens to us all the time, that it's like a daily, if not couple of times a day type of occurrence, that we just glaze over this real quick. But holy crap, guys. If you are watching this live and you are not squatting up, what are you doing? My word.
That's awesome.
Mike Kane says, got to go watch that foreclosure video. I'm telling you guys, you need to watch this YouTube video. It probably has 450 million views. It is so insanely valuable.
Yep.
That the president of the United States himself has promoted this.
Actually, I heard that they're going to call that Agenda 22.
Yes, it's Agenda 22. Yep. Go watch it on Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. It is an unbelievable video about reaching out to pre-foreclosure leads. Okay.
It has more views than what is it? WAP video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. More views than that? That's incredible. Yeah.
What's WAP stand for?
I don't remember. I don't know. It's been a while.
Can't say it on there.
It stands for wholesaling on purpose.
Yes.
There you go.
Wholesaling and purpose.
Wholesaling and purpose.
Yes.
Oh boy.
That's it, guys. We're going to end on a very strong note there. Really good dad jokes and ridiculousness. But we love you guys. We truly do. Listen, if you did not get your answers or your questions answered, guys, there's so many other opportunities to join us live. I am live on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Arizona time. Pace and Jamil are live on Sundays
I'm on at 5 p.m. PST. Pace.
7 p.m. PST.
Love it.
Let's go, guys.
We are currently running a 30-day challenge inside of our community, but you know what, guys? It's too late to join, so you are SOL.
And on that note, we love you.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Wholesale
See ya,
Hotline.
Guys.
Out.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.